And welcome into the Monday edition. Robby and Rexrode, 1025 The Game. Robbie Stanley, Joe Rexrode, Ian Safar here with you. We are presented by Green Ventures Landscaping. Property managers, if you manage it, they maintain it. Visit greenventureslandscaping.com. We are live today from our Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning Game Nashville studios, home of the $99 yearly Beehive membership, where the buzz is always about great service. Joe Rexrode, happy Monday. How we doing? What's going on?
We're doing all right. I'm watching that goal that the Ducks got. That was past the line. I mean, the skate covered it, but I think that's a gimme, right?
It was past the line.
And McDavid, man, he had the game on his stick. Oh my gosh, just like, again, looking like everybody else is just in molasses compared to him, but got to lift that puck, man.
They're in big trouble. They're down 3-1 in that series.
Wild.
Big trouble.
Can we get some Ducks Sabres?
By the way, congratulations to the LA Kings, who, a lot of fighting over that last playoff spot over the last couple of weeks of the regular season, just to get totally obliterated by the Colorado Avalanche in 4 games.
I mean, there is a question. Would the Preds have done better than that?
Couldn't have done much worse.
It's true.
Could not have done much worse, but congratulations to the LA Kings, and one and done.
They're the quintessential, hey, good enough to just get in.
They've
get crushed every time.
They've been one and done in the playoffs, I believe, 5 years in a row, maybe 6. But yeah, not going so well on that front. And now Kopitar has retired. So we'll see how that goes for them moving forward. Ian Safar, how we doing? What's going on?
Good morning. Happy Monday. Doing just fine, thanks. Nice weekend with the fam. Beautiful weather. Shout out to the Edmondson Elementary kickball game yesterday. Hung out at the park for a little bit. But doing good. Should be a fun week.
Should be. We'll see what happens on that front. It is post-draft. As K-Dot on the YouTube chat has pointed out, we're finally post-draft here on the program. We got a lot of stuff to sort through with the NFL draft, which we will do throughout the show today. Take your thoughts at 615-737-1025. Our phone number, Cory Curtis from News 2, will be with us at 8 o'clock on the program today, and we'll get his thoughts on what the Titans have done in the 2026 NFL draft. So, Joe, here's where things stand on the Titans front. We talked Friday about the selection of Carnell Tate and Keldrick Falk in the first round. The Titans moved back up into the latter part of the second round to draft Anthony Hill Jr., the linebacker from Texas. So thought enough of him to move back up after they had moved up to get Keldrick Falk. And then from there, they didn't pick again until the early part of the 5th round. So that's a pretty long wait from the end of the 2nd all the way to the 5th, but took Fernando Carmona, the offensive guard out of Arkansas, Nicholas Singleton taken in the 5th round, the running back out of Penn State, Jackie Marshall, the defensive tackle out of Baylor in the early part of the 6th round, Pat Coogan, the center from Indiana, got a little Indiana Hoosier football now in the building for the Tennessee Titans, and to round things out, Jaron Kanak, the tight end out of Oklahoma in the 7th round. So that's the Titans draft, where things stand there. You're talking, what is that, 8 picks? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 picks for the Tennessee Titans. So, Joe, overall, as we sit here, as the dust settles from the NFL draft, what do you make of what the Titans have done over the weekend, adding to their football team?
Well, I think overall, and of course, now you take it all together too. You think about it that way a little bit. Like, I think they've really done a good job of addressing the front 7. We'll see how well they've done or how good some of these guys are. But I mean, they have really made over that front 7 to give Jeffrey Simmons, coming off his best year.
Yeah.
One of his best years, maybe his best year, to give him a lot more help. And I think that's exciting. I think the front 7 and what it could be is promising. It's very different. And it's there's no question that they decided to hit that hard. I would have liked to have seen them hit corner a little more than not. Because corner depth is probably going to be something we talk about this year.
Yeah.
They help the receiving core a ton. I mean, 2 guys who, like, very well could be, they're just top 2 players. It should be probably. Certainly, the number 4 pick in the draft needs to be. He needs to be their best receiver this year and then build from there. But they have given Cam Ward some I think some real help there. So I like that a lot. I mean, I think the receiving core and front 7, they've certainly, it's going to look different, and I think it's going to look better. And then, the corner depth and again, the interior of the offensive line. Did they do enough? Because the two guys they got in the interior, Pat Coogan is one of those. It's a really interesting thing because there are people who love the guy.
Yeah.
And obviously he was a leader. And of course, it's funny because one of the clips that was circulating this weekend was him, before a game screaming, motherfuckers, But it's funny because it was when he was with Notre Dame playing Indiana.
Yeah.
and then he transfers to Indiana, switches from guard to center. But even for a center, he has short arms. He's the Reuben Bain of centers. And like the measurables are not good. That's why he won his. So it's like great intangibles. But I've heard some people say, "Oh, that's our starting center." I'm like, well, let's ease up there. I don't know that you should count on that. But at least they did something there. Carmona, there were other people out there that folks thought were better than him. They did, but that happens all the time too. So I mean, look, I think overall. They did some things, I think, effectively, and then I'm still very worried about the interior of the offensive line. And if you didn't address that well, and it's just a bunch of dudes, and you can't find two who can play, then the help you gave Cam Ward is going to be diluted a little bit.
I'm still worried about the interior of the offensive line as well. I mean, I guess I would say at least they drafted people there, so we'll see.
Yeah,
there are two more bodies that they've now added to the mix. So if Carmona ends up being a good guard that you can plug in and play, great. And then maybe, in next year's draft, pretty quickly, you're going to have to identify probably some more help on the interior. But they did add two more bodies there, so I guess you feel okay about that if you're a Titans fan. But it's going to be a big question mark heading into the year. Clearly, it's interesting because the Titans, I think we would all agree, are in a spot from a roster construction standpoint where they still probably need a lot of picks. And they picked 8 guys, so it's not like they didn't have any picks, but they did move up to get Keldrick Falk, and they moved up to get Anthony Hill Jr., which, you did have to sacrifice some things in order to do that. So to me, that puts a lot of pressure on Keldrick Falk and Anthony Hill Jr. to be pretty good for you early. Like you're talking, number one, Falk's a first-round pick, so you're talking about that needs to come in and he needs to be impactful. But Anthony Hill Jr., you're moving up for a linebacker. Like, he needs to be a pretty good player for you right off the jump.
Yeah, I do think, like, the idea of moving up once you get into the middle rounds, I'm not against it because, as a lot of people have talked about, the latter part of the draft is diluted also because of, a lot of guys staying in college and getting that sweet NIL money. So, but no, it's interesting because I saw opinions all over the map. I've seen opinions all over the map on Falk.
Yep.
And as we talked about, it's not an opinion, it's a fact that he didn't produce. Yep. So that's just what it is. But some people love him. So we'll see. I mean, I saw that TD in some of his analysis, he doesn't expect him to start. And I think that's probably fair early. But, man, you really, to me, you move up to get a guy in the first round. And given, their limitations, you really hope that at some point he claims that spot. Hill, yeah, maybe it's right away, he starts. And it's interesting with him too. I like him as a player.
Yeah,
I mean, he's
same.
He can get downhill and, you can.
Downhill. See what you did there. Nice job.
Yes. Thank you, Anthony. Downhill. But then like the coverage, even like the coverage, like it's funny because I read different analysts, have different thoughts on his coverage skills even, and it's like you can find examples of him doing some good things, but then overall the metrics don't exactly speak that well of it. And I do think that's an important thing at linebacker for them to have, they've got to be better there. But yeah, I think he could be a starter. Absolutely. So, and that's what you want. And, when you just look at all of it, even, the D tackle they got, I think that's a decent value where they got him and just another body in there. Like they've definitely attacked that area.
The Singleton pick is interesting to me at running back because a lot of people, there's interesting thoughts on him. Like I saw people writing about this after they drafted him, Joe. That's like, hey, I mean, he could come in there and by the end of the year, he could be running back 1 for the Titans. It's like, well, maybe. He's interesting to me from the standpoint of like his junior year at Penn State. He had almost 1,100 yards. He had 6.4 a carry. He scored 12 touchdowns. Now, last year, we know Penn State last year was a disaster, particularly compared to what people thought they were going to be in the preseason. Like last year was supposed to be Penn State's year, and then they sucked, quite frankly. So there is that.
True.
But 12 games last year, 549 yards. He went from 6.4 a carry in 2024 to 4.5 a carry last year. That's a dramatic drop off.
And lost his starting job.
So what to make of all that? He's at least intriguing to me, but there's a pretty dramatic drop in production from one year to the next from Singleton.
He's fascinating. He's kind of the Rashaan Evans of running backs, which is like, again, when Rashaan Evans, it was very simple. Like, there it is, go get it. It's like, holy crap, the speed and explosive. Like, Singleton gets a seam, he's gone. I mean, like, he will make some, he'll make some plays where it's like, my goodness, but he's not. How much can you coach patience, setting up blocks, instinctiveness, all that stuff? How much can that be coached? If it can be coached and you can figure that out, that might be a hell of a pick. And I wrote this, the Athletic, like, it is possible, like, next year their running back room is him and a player TBD. It is possible.
Yeah.
It's also possible, people are like already like giving him Tajay Spears' job, and he is a good pass catcher, but I don't know that that's even the case. I mean, the range of possibilities with him is wide.
What's interesting is, like, I guess I'm trying to find his actual combine time, which I think was 4.42, but I'll double check that. But apparently, this is a court, like Feldman put this out there, a bunch of people in 2024, like the winter of 2024. So last offseason, he ran a 4.35. So
at that size, he is stunning. He was like, I think the number one running back recruit coming out. He is a stunning talent. Like, when he gets any space, but it's just, I'll say that is going to be, I think, one of the most interesting stories. And look, man, go back to 2018. I know some people want to just like think, Vrabel and, sorry, I brought up Vrabel. Good God, let's not even get into that today. Vrabel and LaFleur were idiots in 2018 because, one person in particular hit that hard. But the reality is, it really is true. Like, he did not have a feel yet. Like that wide zone running stuff. Like, they had to work with him a lot on kind of finding that cutback lane and all that stuff. And then it finally clicked for him. And he went from this dude that occasionally would make a big run, you're like, geez, to like, oh, now he's actually like got it all together. And now he's
best running back in the league.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's your hope for someone like Singleton, that, you can find stuff that clicks for him, and he can, because, that's a huge part of being a running back. It's not just being fast and big.
So the Titans draft class is set. We will take your reaction to what the Titans did over the weekend in the 2026 NFL Draft. 615-737-1025 is our phone number. More coming up next. Robby and Rexrode, 1025 The Game. Welcome back in, Robby and Rexrode, 102.5 The Game. The Titans draft is in the books. We'll take your thoughts on the 2026 draft class for the Tennessee Titans at 615-737-1025. Stephen from Clarksville says the Titans draft highly questionable and underwhelming. It's very much a let's hope they're as good as the guys they should have drafted draft, is what Stephen from Clarksville says.
Isn't every draft that kind of to some
degree?
extent?
Yeah, I would agree. Yeah.
So
to some degree,
I'm trying to go through various experts. So Sporting News,
Yeah.
I saw gave the Titans an A+
Yeah.
for their draft.
it's pretty good.
I don't know who that is with Sporting News, but Sporting News gave an A+. Mel Kiper had the Titans among his worst 3 drafts. Those are the 3 drafts that he liked the least.
Is that because they passed on Shedeur last year?
Yeah, maybe. Along with the Jags and 49ers.
Hey,
Boy,
Gladstone's
at some
proud
point-
of his draft.
At some point, we're going to get into the Jags, who now I'm going through our guy, Dane Brugler. Number 32, Jacksonville Jaguars. Like, the reaches for them. I mean, people are going nuts about the Borkircher dude at 56.
And we want him to be nothing more than him.
So people are down. A lot of people are down on the Rams draft too. I think a lot of it because of. So by the way, I know we're on Titans right now, but then there's so much going on. We'll get to all of it eventually. But so do you buy after watching the press and everything, and then all the like damage control? Do you think that McVay actually was mad about?
He was mad about something that night.
He was mad about something.
I don't know if it was specifically Ty Simpson, but he was clearly upset about something. Now he did the next day come in there and was, hey, do I look mad right now? And then kind of joked about it. But
Right.
yeah, that first night he was mad about something. I don't know what it was.
And then the whole let's make history. He's like, yeah, okay.
Well, you just get off the phone, go hang out with your parents. All
See
right.
you later. All right, bye-bye. Dane Brugler has the Titans 12th.
Okay.
So that's pretty good. 12th in the NFL with his favorite pick of Tate. And the day 3 pick who could surprise as Carmona.
Okay.
So, look, I think the Coogan thing, I think people need to keep their expectations. He just won it all. He was the MVP of the Rose Bowl, which is amazing that a center got MVP of the Rose Bowl. And he's a great, big, tough kind of leader. Like, there are limitations with him that you got to we'll see, but yeah, I mean, Carmona, you'd love to see a guy, and that's about where you thought maybe they'd hit the interior of the offensive line, maybe a little higher. But like you said, they moved out of some stuff. If you could get yourself a starter in the 5th round at 142,
Be pretty good.
that'd be pretty good.
Ed talking about, Cushenberry and Zeitler not setting the bar all that high a year ago and, getting some of the concern, but people are acting like we need to replace 2 All-Pros. I'm not worried about I would largely agree, like Cushenberry and Zeitler for the majority, well, maybe majority is not fair. A significant portion of the year last year, it was like, that's not going so well. And I do think like Zeitler got better as the year went on and, all those things. But I would agree, like it's not like they're replacing 2 fantastic players at center and right guard. But my question is, like, do they have anybody right now that's a starting level player at center or right guard?
Yeah, exactly.
That's what I'm trying to figure out. I don't need them to be all pros. I need them to find some people who can start and not get absolutely destroyed out there.
Exactly. You just don't want there to be this glaring weak link. I mean, yeah, they're not replacing. They didn't have great players there. We could all agree. You just don't want there to be a glaring hole. And the thing is, those spots are next to each other. So that's a big gaping hole. If you don't find 2 people who can play. Ed said, just because we don't like the names doesn't mean they can't. We know nothing about Schlotman, and yet we already dismissed that he's awful. I'm not dismissing that he's awful, but
he's made 18 starts since 2019. Like, he started 4 games last year.
Yeah, the history to now says he's a fringe starter at best.
Right.
Maybe he comes in here and he's awesome. Believe me, the Titans are due some stories like that. But I just would like a little more certainty there. And that's just like we're already on the right side, hoping, right? Everybody's hoping that that J.C. Latham can take that step and take the step next year that Skoronski did last year. You got Dan Moore on the left. I mean, like the offensive line got better last year, but now again, you have those 2 spots that are not sure. You're still not sure about right tackle. You think it should at least be decent. At left tackle, I mean, okay, it's all right. Mandor, no challengers to him through this offseason. He's
a left tackle.
He is right. Yep. Just there you go. So like
Those hinges are ready to go.
that's right. Oil them up and here we go. Like you can see where the offensive line could still be a problem. It's very you can spin it either way you want. I have concern. I have concern about the offensive line, and it's just you just don't want that to disrupt some of the other things you're doing to help Cam work.
Well, and I've thought about this more over the weekend. I do like where they're at with their receiving core right now. Now,
Yeah.
I am kind of factoring in that Tate is, maybe not from the jump a top 20 receiver in the league, but Tate in his rookie year shows you that, okay, you've got something to work with here moving forward. So if that's the case, then I like where their receiving core is. Now, you've got, I think what I would dub their starting trio right now, if they go 3 wide, would be Tate, Ridley, and Robinson.
Yep.
What is Calvin Ridley next year? I have no idea. Like, he's coming off the injury. What is he going to be, 32? So what does that look like? I think we know what Robinson is. Robinson has experience in this offense. He's caught 90-plus balls each of the last 2 years. I think we know what he is. But I think the addition of Tate kind of sets the receiver room where it's supposed to be in terms of how you slot him. And then we'll see how good Tate is, right? Like that's going to be a big storyline, obviously, all year. But it would be a shame if some of that gets undone by yet another season of subpar offensive line play.
Right. Yeah. It's a concern. I mean, to me, that the offensive line play and the corner depth would be the interior offensive line, corner depth. Those are the 2 areas that you still have concern about. The good thing, if you want to look at the good thing on the offensive line, is at least they do have, they have bodies, they have potential competition. You hope that, you hope that helps and all that. Okay, so Singleton, you said Singleton's combine.
Well, I was trying to. So there's a Singleton. There's a 4.42 associated with him that I assume was from the combine. It was not from the combine.
I didn't see it.
Did not participate.
He's
NFL
hurt.
draft combine.
Yeah, he broke the 5th metatarsal or whatever.
So apparently the 4.42 is from another time that he did, and 4.35 is from last offseason.
Yeah.
So there you go.
Yeah. So it's really good speed for his size. Whether it's a 4.35 or a 4.4, the question is, can you get him some space?
Yeah.
To use that.
615-737-1025, our phone number. More your reaction to the Titans draft class, plus the major moves have now all happened. We've gotten through the big portion of free agency. We've gotten through the NFL draft. There could be some moves here or there that still come. But largely, this is going to be what your football team is heading into next year. What do we think about it? How much better should the Titans be? How are we feeling about what the Titans have done this offseason? We'll get your thoughts on that. Robby and Rexrode, 102.5 The Game. Welcome back in, Robby and Rexrode, 102.5 The Game. Taking your thoughts at 615-737-1025. It is Reaction Monday, brought to you by Pella Windows and Doors of Nashville. So the offseason, the major moves in the offseason, we believe are done, right? You've gotten through the big portion of NFL free agency. The NFL draft is now done. So there could be some moves that happen here and there, like Titans may go sign, who knows, maybe Kevin Zeitler ends up back in the building, or maybe they make some sort of trade between now and training camp. But for the most part, you feel like your roster is pretty much what it's going to be heading into training camp and into next season, which, by the way, still includes Will Levis. He's still here. So,
Yeah, how about that? No Levis trade.
yeah, he's still out there. It's a deep quarterback room they got right now.
Levis,
Ward, Trubisky, Levis, and Hooker.
think of like the possibilities in some of these preseason games.
Yeah. Could be a lot of stuff that goes on out there.
And you can just Cam, have a seat. Mitch to Hendon to Will or whatever combination. My goodness.
Yeah. So you got all those things that are still possible. But for the most part, the roster is what it is. So what do you make about what the Titans have done this offseason? How much better should they be? What are we looking at here when it comes to the 2026 Tennessee Titans? We'll take your thoughts on that. My quick answer is this. I think from a defensive standpoint, with the additions that they've made, both from a personnel standpoint and also the coach, I'm expecting a huge difference defensively. And it doesn't necessarily mean that they have to be, some top 5 defense, because I agree with you. Like, I think they're relatively thin at cornerback. I still don't know if they've got the right answers at edge rusher. We'll see what Keldrick Faulk comes in and does. And, I think with what they've done this offseason, it's still going to be pretty important that Femi Oladejo takes a big step forward. And if he doesn't, they're just not going to have enough depth there. So we'll see what happens on that front. So there are still holes on the defensive side of the ball. But I agree with you. I think the front 7, they have changed a lot, and I think a lot for the better. So I think you've gone from a defense that was pretty bad other than Jeffrey Simmons to a defense that should be the strength of the football team and that is good. Now, are they great? I don't know. I still think they're probably another pass rusher or 2 away from that, and probably another corner away from that. But I feel good about where they are on the defensive side of the ball through one offseason. I think a lot of this answer on the offensive side of the ball is going to come down to how good's Carnell Tate from the gate, right? Like, if he's pretty good, like if he's worthy of a number 4 selection, and you look pretty quickly into the season next year and he is the primary playmaker in your wide receiver room, then I think you got a chance to be a lot better on the offensive side of the ball. If he's not, and he's, okay, but it's kind of a slow, gradual build with him, which, by the way, is possible for a rookie wide receiver coming in, then I still look at their weapons right now, and I'm like, yeah, Tony Pollard, we'll see what that looks like. We've talked about the offensive line. We don't need to go back into that. I still think if Tate is slow out of the gate, it could be limited what they could do on the offensive side of the ball. So I feel way better about what they did defensively this offseason than what they did offensively. But I think they've done enough as an overall football team when you combine personnel, hopefully a coaching staff that isn't full of total dopes out there, which they had the last couple of years. I mean, we should be talking, Joe, about getting into 7, 8, 9 win territory. It's not that hard to do that in the NFL, going from 3 wins to 7, 8, or 9. Now, it's really not asking that much.
Right. No, for sure. No, this team has enough talent. But again, it's like enough talent and then a lot of questions. So can 60% of them, 70% of them go the Titans' way? Even 50-50, like that's with their schedule. Absolutely. You should be able to get to 7, 8, 9 wins, something like that, right in that range. I think every offseason, every team, you go through even teams that don't do a ton of free agency, like every team looks better than they did, right? Unless they had I think that's been true of the Titans every offseason. We probably said this on this day every year. Like, yeah, they're better. They added A, B, C, and D. The one exception would be like that, the offseason where they traded A.J. Brown. That would be one where you're like, no, they can't. Hard to say they're better. But this Traylon Burks, he looks pretty exciting. Sorry to bring up another first-round receiver. It is time for that to end. They look better, and I agree. The front 7, it's like, you've got you got Jermaine Johnson. Like, is he gonna take that big step now? The year after he came off the Achilles, Martin's solid. One of these two young guys has to pop, and if both of them do, well, okay. Now you have Hill in there. You've really. I definitely think Franklin Myers. That's probably the most guarantee impact add with him and Simmons. That's going to be interesting. So the front seven, without question. And I think so now corner depth is concerned, but if you do stay healthy, that secondary is going to look better. It is though, like you said, like, is there anyone off the edge who's really going to really cause problems for people? We don't know that yet.
And then as this texter brings up, and, I was going to get to this, but it says the Titans' successes and failures depends on if Ward turns into what the Titans drafted him to be. That's a huge part of this.
That would be important.
Does Ward in year 2, under what we assume is better coaching with Brian Dable leading the charge offensively, turn into what you drafted him to be? And that is the number 1 overall pick that elevates some of this stuff that we're talking about. So, that's a big part of this. And if he doesn't, that's really disappointing. Like, that's got to be a big part of this story. If you said a win total, an over-under win total right now for the Titans, what would it be? Because I have the answer from Las Vegas.
From Vegas? Well, my guess is the Vegas win total is 5.5. I might set it at 6.5. I'd probably set it at 5.5. I'd probably set it at 5.5. I agree with you. They should. Come on, it's time to get into the 7, 8, 9 win and be relevant when December hits territory. Like, that you should never be more than a year away from that in this league, really. But I'm going to say 5.5.
6.5 is where they got it.
Okay.
Yep. 6.5.
Well, weren't they? Was last year
like
4.5? Yeah. Okay. Well, there you go. Vegas thinks they're 2 games better, I guess.
Yes.
Text says, if the O-line still sucks, that'll affect everything. You can have the best receivers and running backs. Your quarterback doesn't have any time to throw. There's no gas for your running backs. It will continue to be a dismal year. Can they find more alignment? Yeah, like you said, there's some older guys out there. Zeitler's out there. This is thing that you've talked about, which is the take away the excuses from Cam Ward thing, and you just hope it doesn't get to the point where it's such a problem that everything just gets blown up. There are a lot of names, a lot of new faces and names there, and we'll find out. We'll find out if they can find 5, and if Latham takes a jump. Dan Moore is kind of what he is, right? We know what that's going to be. But I also like the left side with him and Scaracci, fine. Yeah, fine. You really hope that the line allows Cam Ward to take the step that he definitely needs to take.
Let's head back to our phone line, driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. Welcome in Jared in Spring Hill to the program. Jared, good morning. Thank you for calling in.
Well, I'm still positive, fellas. It's kind of crazy that there really wasn't a lot of Titans trauma this year. It didn't feel like in the draft, so I'm very thankful. And now, to your point, Joe, about the offensive line, I am pretty stressed as well with it because, ultimately that is important aspect of any team. And you saw a bunch of teams this year with first-year head coaches. I was just kind of paying attention to it. They went offensive line, defensive line, like round 1, round 2, like Baltimore, New York, like some of those guys with first-year head coaches. So I thought that was kind of unique as well. But I do like them drafting those linemen late. I like the fact they did athletic premium guys at the beginning of the rounds, and then we're going to try to find some dudes later on to fill some roles. And I like a couple of linemen we got. They're 6'5", over 300. These guys feel like they're about to come into the league, and at least they'll be able to hold their own. They went young early, and then they kind of went older late in some of those like trench, gritty positions. So maybe that'll give them a little bit of a leg up. There are at least some premium players that they got out of Arkansas, and then the national championship guy we got from Indiana. It's just kind of hard for me anyways, to look at it on paper and do the paper scouting thing. Be like, look, this 6'5", 313. I think he's, out barring anything crazy, it feels like he's going to contribute. It's better than taking like Aaron Brewer and having to start him and maybe this Slater kid and some of the other ones who's like, small state schools. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I at least like that and later on. But hey, appreciate it, fellas. Have a great day.
Thank you, Jared. Appreciate the call. We'll take more of your thoughts at 615-737-1025, our phone number. The majority of the moves that the Titans are going to make in the offseason have been made. What do you make of the team? What do you make of the moves? How good should this football team be next year in your mind? We'll take your thoughts, 615-737-1025. Robby and Rexrode, 1025 The Game. Robby and Rexrode, 1025 The Game. Taking your thoughts on the Titans. Our football offseason coverage brought to you by Tennessee Brew Works. Raise a glass with Tennessee Brew Works, proud partner and official craft beer of football offseason coverage here on ESPN 1025 The Game. How good should this football team be? We've seen what they've done in free agency. We've seen now what they've done in the NFL draft. You got a second-year quarterback coming up. You got a brand new coaching staff. What are we feeling about how good this Titans team should be next year? Cam says, Titans have improved, no doubt. 7 to 10 wins is achievable. There is still help out there as well. Zeitler would give the offensive line room the vet that it needs as a floor next to the right guard position. Joey Bosa could give you a third down pass rush we desperately need. Got $63 million in cap space. You don't have to spend it, but it's nice to have it. This is from Cam on the text line. They do still have a lot of cap space.
Yeah, I would not expect Joey Bosa in here. Zeitler, though, could definitely happen. As Herb in Kentucky points out, preseason prediction, win predictions often saw on the Niners the year, Commander. Yeah, every year there's the year the Texans blew up when Stroud was a rookie. Then the Commanders blew up when Jane Daniels was a rookie. That happens. We talked about that last year with Cam Ward, by the way. It was a possibility. Didn't happen.
Did not happen.
But certainly. The Titans, if you told me right now the Titans went 10-7 next year, I would definitely not predict that. But I'm not floored. I'm not.
Well, again, people like
the Colts last year were the best team in the league for the first half of the year, and no one thought they were going to do a darn thing all year.
10-7. I mean, but again, like there are also people out there acting like, them getting to 8-9. It's like, well, 8-9. How could they possibly do that? It's like it's the National Football League, man. Like this is, you really shouldn't be this bad for this long. Like it takes. A series of things to happen for you to be as bad as they've been for this long. Like this league is designed for you to basically drift toward the middle here. So like they should, if they're not looking at 7 or 8 wins next year, that's a problem to me, Joe. And it doesn't mean you gotta go like fire Robert Saleh or anything or fire Borgonzi, but it would be very disappointing to me if there's not significant improvement getting to 6 or 7 wins next year. Like if they don't get to that, that's a problem next season.
Yeah. In this league, best team and worst team, like on a given day, that can happen, So you're going to be in a bunch of close games. I mean, last year, how many games could they have won? How many games were like one, they could have won certainly 4 more games, right? I mean, they were right there for that, even as bad as they were. So there's just not that big of a difference between teams in this league. And I do think that, like Ed thinks they might have a top 10 defense. I think that might be a little bit optimistic. But if things break their way with a couple of these guys in the front 7, which I think already looks like it's going to be quite a bit better, and then you again, I think staying healthy at corner is going to be a big thing this year, and that's unfortunately because it's something that they like every year they don't do, and then they end up with guys who they just pick up off practice squads, and they're kind of in that position again. But also maybe you're due for a good luck year in that way after a lot of injuries at that position.
I mean, how good's Flott? How good's Taylor going to be with this team?
Right.
There's a lot that goes into that. Matthew from Jolton says, I'd be content with 5 to 7 wins. If they win closer to 5, it'll make going after Jeremiah Smith way easier.
Oh, boy.
Let me tell you what we're not going to do here on this program.
Talk about next year.
We're not going to wait for the next year to talk about the draft. We're just not going to do it.
God,
frankly, to be honest with you, I hope the Titans are not in position to draft Jeremiah Smith next year. That would be great. That would mean that your quarterback is probably taking some significant steps forward. By the way, they did just draft a receiver at number 4 overall. So frankly, I don't know that I want them drafting receiver number 5 overall, what it would be next year. I mean, if he's there and you could do it, great. But let's win some games.
Yeah.
That'd be great.
Yeah, exactly. Matthew also said they could have had Jamal McCoy. Yeah.
So good everybody.
Every team could have had him several times. I can't. I mean, good. Obviously, hope it works out for him, and that means it works out for the Raiders, and they end up getting a tremendous value. But I can't blame Borgonzi or any other GM that was scared away by that. That sounds pretty rough. By the way, Charles and his guys took a lot of crap. Not Charles,
the guys with him did though. Yeah, I saw that.
Fitzy's. I could tell in the moment like Fitz was immediately like, guy, like they just, for people who don't know what I'm talking about, Charles gave the total lowdown on like McCoy's injury, and it does not sound good, man. It's like, whatever, the bone plug thing in the other knee and all that stuff. And
bottom line is basically he could need another surgery that would keep him out for another year.
Right. He might have to miss this year. So, but then, it was like laughter of like, oh my God, but it was, people got really mad about it.
They did.
We'll have to ask Charles about that Thursday.
Well, yeah.
It's probably his fault.
But yes, they could have had Jermod McCoy there. Yeah, like the people keep coming back to the offensive line. I get it. We'll see what that looks like and how much of a problem that is going to be. Hopefully it's I'd be very surprised if the offensive line is the strength of the team, right? Like, I mean, it's the strength of the offense. What I need it to be at this point is, as you pointed out, Dan Moore is what he is, which is a serviceable left tackle who that when you're going up against some of the elite edge rushers, it's going to be a problem. Like he's going to be out there on an island, and there are probably going to be 3-4 snaps a game where it goes really poorly. And if you're Cam Ward, you either got to find a way to get rid of the ball or just prepare yourself that you're going to get absolutely crushed on 3 or 4 plays in those games. So that heading into it. I feel good about Skoronski. I need the center right guard combo, whatever it is. Serviceable is what I'm asking for. I'm not asking for great. Be serviceable out there. And I am asking for great from the right tackle. Like, it's time to see great from the right tackle. And if you don't see that this year, I said this last year, but I guess I'll move it back to another year. If you don't see that this next year, that's a big problem from J.C. Latham.
Yeah, I'm not optimistic about great. Good to very good, is that possible? I mean, again, that never two different things. Justifying where he got picked, I don't think that's going to happen. I don't think we're going to at some point look back and say, "Oh, they were right where they took him." But can he be a good player for you? Fine. You drafted him you overdrafted him to be a left tackle and switch him, and that's at a spot where he has to be great. Okay, can he be a good right tackle? Fine. Then at least you can function as a football team.
He may need to be great, depending on what the center right guard combo looks like this year.
Can he play? People talk about him going inside the guard. How about both? Can you play tackle and guard at the same time?
Wow,
that would be great.
He's playing 2 positions out there. It's amazing.
Yeah, put another receiver out there. Revolutionize football. 4-man offensive line.
You think Levis can be a guard? You can have him on the roster.
A lot of people talk about Levis being a linebacker. If they hadn't drafted Hill, then we might have been talking about a position switch with him. That was the plan all along.
615-737-1025 is our phone number. More of your thoughts on the Titans. How good is this football team going to be? How much better have they gotten this offseason? We'll continue that discussion. We will get into Diego Pavia and Joey Aguilar going undrafted in the next hour as well. All that coming up. Robby and Rexrode, 1025 The Game. Hour number 2, Robby and Rexrode, 102.5 The Game. Robby Stanley, Joe Rexrode, Ian Safar here with you on this Monday morning. We are presented by Green Ventures Landscaping for homes and businesses that want to stand out, not blend in. Visit greenventureslandscaping.com. We will be joined by Cory Curtis from News 2 for his weekly visit coming up at 8 o'clock. We will get his thoughts on the Tennessee Titans and the 2026 draft class for the Titans. Taking your thoughts in the meantime, 615-737-1025. How good is this football team going to be? We've seen what they've done in free agency. We've seen now the completed picture of the draft. How good is this football team going to be? What are expectations heading into next year?
I did some work too. You want to see my research?
I do.
So I went through Athletics and ESPN's big boards. I guess ESPN is actually Scouts Inc. I guess that does it for them, but it's ESPN. So went through their big boards and compared where they had players to where the Titans drafted players. So for example, Brugler had Carnell Tate 10, ESPN had him 13, Titans took him at 4. That's a -6 for Athletic. That's a -9 for ESPN, right? Okay. So the Athletic, overall, their entire draft class was -199, which doesn't sound great to be true. That's an average of 24.9 spots higher per pick than the players were ranked.
Okay.
ESPN total of -146, which is an average of 18.3 spots, higher that they drafted each guy than they were ranked. Now, you got a few that contribute massively to that. Really, Jackie Marshall, which is a pick I don't hate, by the way. They took him 184. Brugler had him 266. ESPN had him 295. So that's -82 in the Athletic. That's -111 for ESPN. Another one, Carmona, is definitely a guy who is way overdrafted per the big boards. He went 142. Brugler had him 206. ESPN had him 188. That's a big difference. And then Jaron Kanak. Am I saying his name right?
I think it's Kanak.
Kanak?
That's what the
not Kanak. Kanak.
That's what the pronunciation guide says.
He went 225. So Brugler had him 251. ESPN had him 282. So there's some guys, later. A lot of it is late draft stuff that that stuff can get, that stuff can kind of go all over the place. I mean, with Falk, that's a +16 in the Athletic ranking, and it's a +6 for ESPN. Brugler had him 15th. ESPN had him 25th. Hill, Brugler had him 50th. He went 60th. So that's a +10. For ESPN, had Hill 35. So they thought a lot more of him. And then Singleton's another guy who he went 165. Brugler had him 163. ESPN had him at 121. That's a big plus there with him. So
or the Jags.
For whatever that is all. Yeah, I honestly thought about doing this with the Jags. Maybe I will this week because, seriously.
Wow, they're -860. Way to go, Jags.
I mean, last year was such a good year for them.
Yeah.
Even though what they did in the draft
didn't really work.
Looks terrible right now. I mean, everybody hates their draft. Yeah. Their draft, again, the consensus boards, can they be wrong? Absolutely. Are there players that are going to way outperform where people thought and the other way around? Absolutely. People think their draft sucks.
Except Gladstone.
Except Gladstone, who is.
I can proudly say that we nailed it. 10 picks.
We need to. You know what, Ian? I'm going to send you that one. We need to play that one, man. This guy.
Could this be the Rex rant?
This freaking guy. I don't know. There's so many possibilities. I mean,
Travis Hunter is who we've been hunting up.
Nolensville High had a prom at Nissan Stadium Saturday. There's a lot of possibilities here. Okay.
Really? Prom at Nissan Stadium?
Yeah. My kid was promming at Nissan Stadium. Okay.
Good to know.
Yeah.
Just imagine when the new stadium opens, you can do that under the roof. That's good.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah. What a bad. You have some raves in there. Some keggers.
Keith says, or you could flip the narrative and say how off were the Athletic and ESPN on ranking players and picks.
That is right.
They're the ones guessing what the team picks is the actual results. That's true.
That is true. You're right. So we will certainly revisit. I can tell you that much.
We will. I mean, personally speaking, the quote unquote reaches when you're talking about like 6th and 7th round draft picks, I don't really care about that. Like, I think, especially in today's day and age, where it's so diluted down there anyway, that doesn't bother me when you start quote unquote reaching for people in the 6th and 7th rounds. Like, this is going to largely come down to, did they reach at 4 with Carnell Tate or not? Right? Does he work out being a great player? Well, if he is, I'm probably cool with it. Like, did they reach by trading back up into the 1st round and getting Keldrick Falk? Or is he a guy that's a really good edge player for them for the next 7-8 years? Well, if he is, cool. Like, I'm cool with it. So that's what I care about. If I'm a Titans fan, is those top picks, what does that look like? Particularly Tate. Like, at 4 overall, particularly when there's Reese on the board, as we talked about on Friday, Styles was there. You could have gone some different ways at number 4. Does Tate play to the level where it's worth taking him where he did?
Tate needs to be a star. Falk needs to be a really good player.
Yeah.
Cam Ward needs to be a star.
Yeah.
That's really all the other stuff it's important, but it's kind of noise compared to those big things.
Yeah.
Ward to Tate, number 1 overall to number 4 overall. It needs to be one of the best pass catch combos in the NFL in the next decade.
Yeah. It's got to be.
That's what you're saying that you did.
Yeah. You're talking a number 1 overall quarterback and number 4 overall receiver. Like, we need to, when we're having conversations about the Titans in 2032, we still need to be talking about what a dynamic pairing that is between Ward and Tate. That's what it needs to be moving forward.
We're going to be sitting here talking about the Titans.
I don't know if we are, but people.
I mean, will I be alive then? Let's be real.
You're on a long gout-free run at the moment, my friend.
I actually thought I was having a little bit of a I had a little bit of pain in my foot, but it wasn't gout.
Oh, that's good.
Thank you.
That's good. One texter says,
Ian looks concerned in there.
One texter says, knowing that I'm going to get to watch Trevor Lawrence running from his life away from Jeffrey Simmons and John Franklin Myers has me grinning from ear to ear. It's going to be weird doing that too with a haircut that Trevor Lawrence has got too. I mean, there's no way that hair is growing back by the time the season starts. Like, maybe halfway back, but he's not getting back to what he had.
He kind of looks like Gladstone with that haircut. Now that I think about it, like the Bobbsey twins.
Yeah,
they are fascinating. This whole thing with them is it's amazing.
Well,
but again, like last year they were good, so Lawrence was good.
Yeah, we threw the question out there: how good are they going to be? How good are the Titans going to be? I wonder, defensively, how much of it just simply comes down to Simmons, Franklin Myers together. We had that conversation about Sweat and Simmons, and it just didn't work with Sweat. But Simmons was so good individually last year. Like, if he's close to what he was a year ago, and now you plug John Franklin Myers, who is a proven commodity at this point, like we know what he is. Like, how much of the improvement on the defensive side of the ball is just as simple as those two together up the middle? Like, you start to list formidable pairs up the middle around the league. Like, you don't get too far down the list before you get to those two, right?
No.
As a combo.
In the last 2 years, going into the year, and maybe a little bit less last year after Sweat's rookie year, but it was like, this could be the strength of the team. We haven't seen them play together, but like you think about Simmons and Autry, and even really like when Simmons kind of fell off a little bit as a player, it was still a really good tandem. I mean, Simmons, the last year version, with what if you get what Franklin Myers has been together,
that's pretty good.
I mean, that helps. Again, that helps your edges. That should help them be better because those guys have to occupy extra people, and then if they're better, then the whole thing helps the secondary be better. And Ed's talking top 10 defense. That might be a little rich, but they could definitely be a top half of the league defense and really, really pretty freaking good. A winning team's defense.
Well, and the big question in all of this, even beyond the roster, because the roster is the most important part. You have to have players and tools to work with. But how much better is this coaching staff? Like the coaching staff that they just got done with Callahan, and it was a disaster. And we know it. We don't have to sit here and relive it. It was bad. Now, this one, I think there's a lot of optimism about. But again, we are talking about a head coach that wasn't very good in New York. And Dable has a long history of offensive football in this league at this point, some of which is very good, some of which is not so good when it comes to the head coaching part of it. How much better are they? That's what I can't quantify as we sit here today. But you would hope that they're significantly better than the last staff. And what sort of a difference is that going to make in the season when you get to actual games being played? I would have to think some, if that's the way it goes. But again, we're talking about a head coach that, the old Bill Parcells saying, you are what your record says you are. Well, until proven otherwise, like Robert Saleh to this point in the league, and I understand all the history behind it with the Jets, but at this point in the league, he's a 20-36 head coach. So is that what he is, or is there a significant step forward from the head coaching part of this in his second stop? And that's a question that, as we sit here today on April the 27th, I just can't answer.
Right. Yeah, just like the big picture question is like, yeah, Ward being a star, Tate being a star, these high picks panning out. The big picture question with him is he a good head coach and the Jets wouldn't let him show it, or is he just a dude who's going to be a great defensive coordinator the rest of his career? Because that's pretty much what this opportunity is for him. It's here's your next chance, and if it doesn't work out here, then just go be a DC for the next 20 years.
Yeah, exactly.
And you'll be a good one.
Yeah, and there's nothing wrong with that.
Sure.
But Titans need him to be
They need it. They need that to not be the case.
Yeah. 615-737-1025, our phone number. And frankly, the Titans probably need, you don't want this, but you probably need at the end of the year to be, well, we had such a good year that we're probably going to be losing Brian
Bye,
Davis. So what do we do about that?
Yeah.
I think I'd sign up for that right now if I'm a Titans fan.
If he's not gone after this year, probably didn't go well.
Yep. 615-737-1025. More on the Titans coming up next. Robby and Rexrode, 1025 The Game. Robby and Rexrode live from our Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning Game Nashville studios. Home of the $99 yearly Beehive membership where the buzz is always about great service. Taking your thoughts at 615-737-1025. I got bad news. Apparently, the Trevor Lawrence haircut is fake. It's AI. I'm looking at his Instagram right now. He just posted a story. He's got hair. He's got all sorts of long hair.
Okay. So was this like a story then?
Oh yeah.
But so
I don't know about that.
Yeah,
but it went
like,
everywhere. It was made the rounds a couple weeks ago. I just assumed it was real. I guess that's my fault.
it's so bad, man. You can't trust anything anymore. Yeah.
Well, that's unfortunate. I was really looking forward to watching him run around and not have that hair out there.
Jaguars reporter. Yeah, boy. People like there was heavy reaction to this as I Google it. My goodness. Yeah, that's too bad because he and Gladstone could. Hey, Trevor, you look just like me now. You want to go out to the bar tonight? Gladstone.
Trevor's been known to show up at a Waffle House. You know, I think after the Jags beat the Chargers in the playoffs a couple years ago, that's where he went.
Nice.
Waffle House.
Good for him. After the NFL fixed that game.
Yep.
Yeah. Because they really wanted, Jacksonville too.
Nothing moves the needle quite like Jacksonville.
Yeah, no, huge, great thinking there by a good thinker.
Yep.
That's really. There's just a lot of this stuff with AI and everything that's like you just can't trust anything. And we're about to talk about Pavia. I mean, some of the crap. It's just amazing, like how destructive the internet can be.
Well, let's get into it. Diego Pavia, not drafted over the weekend, and he ends up signing with a rookie tryout with Baltimore. So we'll see what that looks like for him. Are you? I guess scale of 1 to 10. How surprised were you that Pavia goes undrafted?
3. I mean, I thought that we talked about it before. I think at one point I was like, yeah, I'll put him down for going late. But again, like it matches up with. I mean, Brugler didn't even have him in his top 300 prospects. He had him as the 16th quarterback. He had Aguilar higher. We've talked about all that. Most people, like he just, he doesn't. The physical limitations are a lot. Now, the question and what I saw this weekend, and I actually wrote something about this today for The Athletic, is just like, first of all, the reveling in his misery here. Vol Twitter. I don't know that I've seen Vol Twitter this active on a non-game day ever. I don't think Vol Twitter has been this active on a non-game day that as I've been observing Vol Twitter for a decade.
I can think of one.
Oh, other than Shano Sunday. Yeah, my bad.
I can think of one.
Yeah, Shano Sunday, game days of big games, and now Diego Pavia going undrafted. My goodness, folks. Yep. I mean, it's a little bit much, baby. Little much. But then there's just a lot, but it's not just Vol Twitter, No. I mean, a lot of people just hate Pavia, and they just have absolutely pleasured in all this. And it's like, I can't sit here and say that the stuff he's done didn't hurt him. I mean, but again, I think maybe you're talking about the difference between, and I am surprised, scale of 1 to 10, surprised I'm not getting a UDFA. I'm more like a 7.
Yeah. That
surprises me. I'm surprised no one gave him a free agent deal that he has to do this mini camp trial with the Ravens. That is where I have to look at it and say, yeah, maybe some of this stuff hurt him. But I still, I went through this again last night as I'm writing about this. And it's like, F the voters. By
the way, he did not say that about the NFL over the weekend.
Oh, no, we'll get to that. Oh, yeah. No, I mean, it's just, but yeah, so he peed on the field in New Mexico a few years ago. F the voters. And he can be cocky and talk a little.
Sure.
But that's not character concerns, dude. I'm sorry. That's not character concern. But, I saw Gentry wrote about this, and I mentioned a little bit too. I think this is something to consider, and maybe something that I didn't put enough stock in, which is if you don't, if you look at him and say the dude's 5'10", he doesn't have enough arm, and when he comes in here, he is the story, and it's going to be all this attention, and who he might say something goofy. Is it worth all that? I mean, the distraction avoidance part of this might be something that I didn't really.
Yes, but it's not like he should Shedeur Sanders out there or anything like it. Like he's Diego Pavia. I understand that, he's got a large personality.
Yeah.
But
I mean, look, mostly it's just the reality is
measurable.
it just happens sometimes. Yeah. Like, and it doesn't happen a ton, like someone that high in the Heisman, like I think Jordan Lynch. But there was another example of a guy who, I know it was at Northern Illinois, but it was an incredible player. But it was like, yeah, he's not going to be a pro, I'm still sitting here like, I don't know, man. I actually like the rate. It's an offense like that he has to be in.
I
right?
agree.
And I still I'm hesitant to sit here and say, well, good luck to you in the CFL, Diego. And that may be what it ends up being. And he'll probably go up there and be amazing, by the way. But I'm still hesitant to just count him out.
I am too, but it's going to be a major uphill climb.
Yes.
Like you're talking when
Yes.
when it's the combo of not only not being drafted, but not being in, UDFA. And you're just basically like, yeah, you come to our mini camp and try out. That kind of shows you. I think it's a major uphill climb now that's in front of him.
Mute. No doubt. And William from Madison hits on something, which I wrote about, but this is Mitch Light's research. As William says, one thing we learned about the draft is how great of a job Clark Lee did last year. 10 games in the SEC, one player drafted. So Mitch went back to 2010. There have been 59 SEC teams that won 10 games or more in that time. None of them had as few as one player drafted. The average for those teams was 6.8 players drafted.
Yeah.
And Vanderbilt had one guy, Eli Stowers, drafted. That tells you Clark Lee. It also tells you Pavia and like how great he was. I mean, right?
Yeah.
Like they have other talent. They actually had some guys who are coming back who I do think will be in the league, but still, it's pretty remarkable. The lowest other than this was the South Carolina 2013 team, which one of those draftees was Jadeveon Clowney.
Yeah.
But yeah, look, it's Caleb says nothing to do with me being a Vols fan. He's just not a pro. Well, no. Well, that's fine, Caleb. But look, Vols fans hate the guy and had a lot of fun with it. I've seen a lot of Pavia, serving the fries, Pavia working at the Home Depot, whatever. People.
By the way, nothing wrong with any of those things.
No, not at all. But people are on the internet or putting him in every possible job other than being an NFL quarterback. And that's fine. Hey, you know what? When you're he is cocky. And so I get that some of that stuff bothered people. I do. It weirds me out a little bit how much people hate him. Like, I don't know that he totally earned that quite to this extent.
I would also it would also be one thing if Aguilar got drafted and Pavia didn't. Aguilar did not get drafted either. Now, he did sign a UDFA with Jacksonville.
He did.
So he joins that magnificent class that's down there in Jacksonville.
Yeah.
He could be Trevor Lawrence's backup here in a couple of years. Who knows?
Given who they drafted, none of them might make the team. He might be in good shape down there. Well, he still did get a better outcome. He did to actually get a UDFA deal as opposed to, again, Pavia doing this minicamp tryout.
Well, I think I would probably sum that up, Joe, as simple as Pavia's 5'10". Aguilar's 6'3" and 230 or whatever he is, and it's just the size. Like, that's a big part of it.
The reality of Pavia is take all the stuff he did. It's pretty minor, and then just put what he did on the field in a 6'3" frame.
Yeah,
it's where no one in the NFL gives a crap about any of that.
Yeah,
they don't give a crap. It's so minor. And then yes, the F the NFL thing, a parody account puts this out yesterday, a parody account. And you saw it and you're like, there's no way he said F the NFL. It was like, F the NFL, I write my own path.
Yeah.
And there are so many actual media people who shared it, including this Brad Crawford guy from 24/7 was like, gee, I hope this isn't real. Well, thanks for sharing
look
it.
into it, you moron.
I mean, it's just so ridiculous. And then I'm like, to me, if it's something like that, you should be vigilant as a media person and trying to figure out if it's real. And I almost feel like people, because it's Pavia, are like, yeah, let's throw this out there and YOLO, let's see if it's real or not. Sure.
Let's head back to our phone line. Welcome in Tim to the program. Tim, good morning. Thank you for calling in.
Morning, guys. Hey, listen, I'm a Vanderbilt fan, have been for a long time. Tennessee's butthurt because Pavia beat them by 21. And they're also butthurt because out of all the three major sports, the basketball, football, and baseball, that we only lost to them one time this school year. That was men's basketball. We beat them 3 times in baseball, beat them in football. Women beat them. We beat them twice in men's basketball. They're they can't stand it that we're doing it. Now, the other thing, what Pavia did after the Heisman, and he should have not ever done that. He did some stuff, but like you said, that's kind of minor stuff. If Pavia was actually 6'1", he'd have probably won the Heisman and probably been a top 10 draft choice.
Yeah, maybe. Thank you for the call, Tim. Appreciate it. I mean,
Vols fan, do you have a response? We got some rivalry trash talk going on here.
well, I mean, what can you say? They kicked their butt in Neyland Stadium. I would point out the men's basketball team in Tennessee got to the Elite Eight, so
And they did win here, too.
I don't think they're too worried about that. But yeah, I mean, there's no doubt. I mean, he came.
Oh,
in there
what
and
he did to them certainly was part of this.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a huge part of it. And look, I'm not surprised he didn't get drafted. I am surprised he was not an undrafted free agent, and I just think that's going to make the path for him borderline impossible, to be honest with you. Like it's not the first time he's had the odds stacked against him. So to your point, maybe we're stupid to go ahead and count him out. But I just think, given the situation, it's a really tough battle that he's got to have some sort of NFL future.
Yeah, agree. I got another thing. I responded to that. But this is a great example of the problem with people like Mike Florio.
We'll get into
Rant started early today.
615-737-1025. More coming up next. Robby and Rexrode, 1025 The Game. Welcome back in, Robby and Rexrode. We'll have the Rex rant with Joe Rexrode coming up here in a few minutes, but it may get started now. May have an early rant.
Yeah, it's an hour of it. And again, it's like, the Vols fans. There's like this Vols fan who I muted a long time ago on Twitter, but he comes to my athletic stories. Like anytime if I ever write about Vanderbilt, he's always the first comment.
Okay.
And so I wrote about Pavia.
It's impressive consistency.
Yeah, and here he is. You mean Vandy superfan Joe sticking up for the biggest douche in the sport? I'm shocked, really. Thanks.
Appreciate it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Andy Joe.
Can't win. You just can't win. Yeah. First of all, like someone texted me, and we've talked about this comparison too, but it is funny. Like you think about Baker Mayfield, a lot of people wondering about his stuff. I mean, that dude like ran from the cops, he went number 1 overall.
Not well, by the way.
Yeah, not well.
Face planted on the sidewalk.
Yeah, like there are a lot of this. But the difference, and he was also not big, but the difference is that Baker Mayfield has a cannon for an arm. That really is like the only difference. I would argue that his personality questions were more legit, like the trouble stuff. Yeah, because again, Pavia stuff is like basically he's cocky. He says some cocky stuff, and he like put something on social media that was stupid one time. I mean, but Baker Mayfield has a howitzer for a right arm, and Pavia doesn't.
Well, I mean, Baker
right?
Mayfield's
Is that not it?
Baker Mayfield's also 6'1", and Pavia's 5'10".
Yeah,
there's the difference.
Is Baker 6'1"? For some reason, I thought he was 6 flat.
His
whatever
combine measurement is 6 foot and 5/8. So you round up.
Yeah, we'll give him 6'1". But that is so 3 inches. I still think the arm is the bigger difference.
I would agree. Yeah.
But yeah, that's all it. So again, that makes my point, which is for people who think this is like this big personality thing. It's just the expectation was, let's see if he can get drafted in the 7th round, and he wasn't. So then, and here we go. And I'm not mad at this person, unnamed texter, but what did he text? As we're talking about Pavia, no agent probably heard him too. How many people believe that? A lot of people believe that. And a few weeks ago, it came out, the part of the interview with Gruden came out. And the problem is that Gruden's like, they're talking about college, but Gruden's talking in present tense. Yeah. And so he's like, so do you have an agent? As they're talking about college, and Pavia's like, hell no, ain't nobody taking my money. So then you take that, and it sounds like right now he's saying that. Well, Pavia has an agent, dude. He's had an agent the entire time. He hired an agent in January, just like anybody would. But so I'm not mad at this texter, but that kind of got cleared up. And then Mike Florio comes out and quote tweets that thing on draft night. They're like, too bad he doesn't have an agent. 1.9 million followers for Pro Football Talk. Well, sure. So then he gets totally annihilated for it by me, I saw Trey Wallace quote tweet. He got community noted, which is like, this is inaccurate. And he does nothing about it. It's just
never addresses it.
No, it's the tweet's up. It's fine. I don't care. Who cares about accuracy? Yeah, we're Pro Football Talk. We don't care about accuracy. 1.9 million followers. Yeah, it's fine. Like, are you that much of a D-bag that you can't just admit you were wrong? Everybody makes mistakes. I've fallen for fake accounts. So apologize. Delete the tweet. Explain it. Like, be accurate. You're a freaking reporter who goes on Sunday Night Football every Sunday talk about the NFL. You can't be a basic professional. The rant's over. Sorry.
I mean, between him and Schefter trying to construct sentences for ESPN.com out there, it's a wonder we get anything done around here in the NFL.
God, that's a good point. Did that ever come up?
No.
The Brazel thing, the whatever he was trying to say?
No.
Do you want to get into Peter Schrager? I mean, let's just have the rant early today. Well, sources are telling me Mike Vrabel will be constantly in contact during his counseling. Oh, really? Oh, sorry, guys. I know there's a really important counseling session, but nah, I don't want that guy. Hold on. Sources are telling me no, that's not true. Awesome.
Hold on, guys. I got to talk to our 6th round draft pick. Give me a second.
The insider world is just having a great time.
Yeah.
I mean, look, Schrager is he's reporting what people tell him, but it looks so dumb. which is mostly, let's trace it back to the whole thing with Vrabel and the Pats. It's just embarrassing.
Florio makes a, relatively pretty good amount of mistakes. And I don't know that I've ever seen him just be like, oh, yeah, go.
Just own a mistake. Everybody, I make tons of mistakes. Own it.
I don't think it's going to happen. I'll be waiting with bated breath to see if he addresses it today. I don't think he's going to.
I mean, I actually need PK on this. Where's PK?
Hey, Mike.
Scream about this so I don't have to. What's wrong with you?
I don't know that I've ever heard PK really address Mike Florio. I wonder if they've ever gotten into it.
I'm
before.
sure.
I'm sure he has.
I'm sure they've had beef. Everybody gets into it with him sometimes. It's like, dude, what are you doing? Like, most of the time it's fine. I feel like his stuff's fine, right?
Most of the time. Yeah.
But then every once in a while, it's just like, again, just you don't have to be an online troll. You have 1.9 million followers. Yeah. You don't have to online troll stuff. Like, be a professional.
So do Diego Pavia or Joey Aguilar, do they ever take a snap in an actual regular season NFL football game? Yes or no?
That's a great question.
Thank you.
You're saying either of them?
Either of them.
I'll say yes.
Okay. I'll go no.
Okay. Fair point.
We'll check back
wrong
on this in a few years.
Yes. I don't know, man. Dennis says you're talking like Pavia has a noodle arm. He doesn't have a noodle arm. He has an average arm. Yeah. But when you're 5'10",
you need to have a exceptional arm.
Right. I mean, again, I thought he got so much better last year, and I thought his touch on the deep ball and all that, I thought he did a lot better last year at taking the short stuff when it was there, working in the system.
Yeah.
But
this is not surprising. Like, right. We've talked about this for months, like the idea that, we've had some people text in over the last few months like, well, Pavia in like the third or fourth round. Like, that's never going to happen. Like, it's just not. It's never going to happen.
I think I did say like maybe the 6th, maybe in the 7th.
Yeah, and that's fine. But like the idea that he was going to be some third or fourth round pick just was never in reality.
No. Texture says Joe is making me like Pavia. Oh, okay. Well, I am a super Pavia fanboy.
615-737-1025, our phone number. We just kind of had the Rex rant, but we're having another one coming up next. Take your thoughts. Got Cory Curtis coming up at 8 o'clock. All that ahead. Robby and Rexrode, 1025 The Game.
Sometimes he wakes up on the wrong side of the bed. And sometimes he's just, well, Joe.
Awkward moment. Let's do it.
This is the Rex Rant, now on Robby and Rexrode.
Hey, guys, I'm really excited about Travis Hunter. He's going to be awesome. You can act like a man. Oh, it's another one of these Super Bowls. It's so awesome. Go to the prom after this.
Ketchup, I love it, but you don't put it on a freaking hot dog.
Which one of you has gout?
Oh, that's a great question.
Hey, Trevor, you look just like me now. You know, he peed on the field.
I would let them pee around the field.
I've also been a child who pooped my pants.
White Sox, White Sox, go, go, White Sox. Let's go, go, go.
It is time for the Rex Rant, brought to you by Rapid Response Generators. Power when it matters most. Check them out at rapidresponsegenerators.com.
Hey, thanks for that White Sox song. Standings check. Oh, hey, White Sox, you're not alone in last. Congratulations. You get to share last place with the Kansas City Royals. You're both 11 and 17. However, your run differential of minus 29 is 10 worse than them. And it's the worst in the American League. You suck, and I love it.
Good start.
Is that my rant? It could be. I've already, kind of emptied the clip today. The problem is, some of the stuff that I quickly complained about in the last couple segments, I could have held on to it and then done a full rant later in the week. Sometimes I get a little low on the rants because I'm a happy person.
You are.
Pretty much just content with everything going on, including, this is a week of my oldest graduated from college. Very exciting week for our family. And I just came across this tweet. I mean, maybe it's fake, but it's probably real, which says college tuition has increased 914% since 1983.
Sounds about
per
right.
CNBC. Yeah, that could be a rant. That could be a year-long rant. I think today I think, though, we need to give a little bit of love to someone in the NFL who, well, let's just listen to James Gladstone from the Jacksonville Jaguars. Asked about, just asked a general question about his draft, which everyone in the league thinks is complete trash.
James, how do you compare what you got out of this draft to what you wanted to get out of it?
Oh, that's a great question. So I can say, as a part of maybe the day before kickoff on Thursday, we ended up putting players in slots across all 11 picks. And can in fact say that we were able to nail 10 of those 11, and we only made 10 selections. So that was a pretty fun outcome, knowing that we were able to map it as cleanly as we were. I don't think that had anything to do with skill, but maybe a little more luck than that. But that was a pretty exciting piece.
Who does that sound like?
Maybe a little Rand Carthon.
It's amazing how many people we've had recently, and sort of sounding like Rand. You got Gladstone here with the amazingly all of our picks were exactly what we wanted. And then you've got Vrabel over here, and every chance he gets. I mean, the dream night of these guys. It's an amazing night. We cannot take attention away from these amazing guys, and this is the moment of a lifetime. Do you not know that? Well, how many years ago was it when Rand said that? He's like, yeah, I sure hope this isn't their highlight of their life. If this is the best night of their career, we got a big problem, don't we? Boy, their lives are going to suck if this is a highlight. Now he's totally, everybody's just following in Rand's footsteps, I guess. But James Gladstone, let
Rand boil.
Yeah. If he ends up being good, I will be so shocked. He's terrible, right?
I mean, if you're going by the old Bill Parcells adage of you are what your record says you are, it's off to a good start.
No, you're right. It's going to be fascinating. And now someone pointed out, that was a great example. Someone in the text line pointed out the Seahawks draft of 12, right? That was because that would have been one. That was Russ. But then also they got some central pieces of these great teams. And it was a completely panned draft. And it turns out, so maybe that'll be the case with if this draft turns out to be good by them, as far off as they were from conventional wisdom, from the consensus boards that people get so mad about. He might be a freaking genius, man.
I just love how he's like, Well, I can proudly say that we nailed 10 of them. We got 10 of them right exactly where we want it.
He is so
And we only picked 10 times. 10 for 10.
How about that? I had so many texts from so many other GMs.
I think I understand what he's trying to say there. Like, hey, we ended up with who we were targeting. But, the phrasing of it, which has made a lot of rounds, is, oh, really? They nailed all 10 draft picks, huh? That's fun. Well, I guess we'll find out.
He is so smug and smarmy.
Yeah.
I can't believe that it's going to work out.
I mean,
I have to think it's going to be a disaster, and the Travis Hunter thing will be the beginning of that.
We're a year removed from the Travis Hunter is who we've been hunting up.
Right.
Really?
Yeah. But maybe he's a genius. I don't know if I can handle that. I don't know if Titans fans can handle that. We'll see.
I mean, it's the Jaguars, right? So, I know they were good last year, but when's the last time they've been good 2 years in a row? It doesn't happen very often.
That is a good point.
I need them to come crashing back down to earth.
They're probably as Jekyll and Hyde as any franchise, which is still better than being like the last few years of the Titans, or the Browns or the Jets, right? But you're right, especially when there's any kind of expectation, they usually fall flat on their face.
I mean, I guess it depends on your definition of good. But, I mean, 97, 98, 99, they were 11-5, 11-5, 14-2. And really since then, they were 12-4 in 2005. Then they were 8-8 the next year. They were 11-5 in 2007. Then they were 5-11 the next year. They were 10-6, got to the AFC title game in 2017.
Oh, yeah. And they should have won it.
They were 9-8 a couple of years in 22 and 23. They won the division in 22 because of the Titans collapse.
Yeah, Titans just handed it.
Then they were 4-13. Then they were 13-4. So Lord knows what they're going to be this year.
Absolutely all over the So I think this year they're going to take a step back, not make the playoffs, and that draft class is going to look terrible. But we'll see. I'm not going to pretend to know. But as Trevor says, it is easy to nail 10 or 11 picks when you reach on all of them. You certainly got your guys. They were there for you at those picks. So congratulations to you.
None of those guys were even under consideration from anyone else, but you did get them.
Yeah. It seems like he's basically young Mike Mayock here in the early stages. And certainly that would be a lot more fun around here than him actually being a genius. So we'll see.
It's going to suck when Travis Hunter's the best corner in the league this year. It's crap.
Well,
I really thought that was going to be a disaster.
For the sake of my own takes, because I've been saying forever he's going to be an all-time great NFL cornerback. I guess that'd be kind of nice.
I want them to open the season with Jacksonville, and I need Carnell Tate to just torch him on the first play of the game. It'd be awesome.
Yeah, that's the next big NFL news item, right?
Yeah.
The schedule.
Yeah. We're only a few weeks away from finding out, I think.
Yeah, so I'm sure that'll be like a 3-night extravaganza, prime time, 8 to 11 p.m., 3 nights in a row.
That's who I want them to open the season with, Jacksonville.
That'd be great.
Let's do it.
I'm in for it. Dave says, we overvalued 10 players, and they were all available when our pick came up. Weird, right? It's but hey,
I can proudly report
I don't know.
Got all of them.
I mean, what if what if this tight end they took that people are just losing their minds about turns out to be a great player?
Yeah. Look, they clearly thought when they hired him that they were getting out ahead of things there, that he was going to be some super genius. So I guess we'll find out. We'll find out. They won the division last year.
Wait, touchdown Tater. I don't get the rest. Who would be? Oh, okay. Touchdown Tater.
There you go.
That's what they said about Tate at Ohio State. Touchdown Tater.
I hope so. That's kind of cool.
There is some stuff you can do with Tater.
Oh yeah. 615-737-1025 is our phone number. Cory Curtis coming up next. You're listening to Robby and Rexrode 1025 The Game. Final hour, Robby and Rexrode, 102.5 The Game. Robby Stanley, Joe Rexrode, Ian Safar here with you on this Monday morning. And it's Monday morning at 8 o'clock. That can only mean one thing. We head to our phone line, driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. Welcome in our friend Cory Curtis to the program from News 2. Cory, good morning. Happy Monday. How we doing?
Happy Monday, Roberto.
It's great to have you with us this morning.
It is. I congratulate you. It's a good get.
It's a good get.
You
Rexrode
didn't have to take me poolside to get it either, so that's cool.
Rexrode just spent the last 15 minutes bashing Jacksonville too, so I feel like we kind of set the tone pretty well leading into your conversation.
What about Orange? Did he?
We ain't got there yet. We left that for you.
Okay.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah, that's true. You can rip on Orange.
Yeah.
Orange.
Before we move on, this brings up an interesting subject.
Okay.
And I know there were some people there because they always have them in the audience, but I was at the draft Thursday, and like the first 5 hours I was there, I did not see one single Jaguars fan.
They had their little section though, right?
Yeah.
Or was that empty? Is that like the one hole in the?
Eventually, yeah, they flew some people in from Orlando.
Yeah.
And got them in there. But I was talking with Julian, and I'm like, Julian, I think I've seen every team except for the Jaguars represented here. That's such a surprise.
Well, how did the Titans fan representation compare?
I mean, it wasn't massive, but I mean, I talked to 3 people in line to come in, so I saw them right away.
Okay.
Jacksonville's
anecdotal evidence.
Step your game up. There's got to be some Jacksonville fan out there who just absolutely despises Cory Curtis.
I hope so.
More than any reporter in the league.
We need to get them together. You know,
I agree.
More Jags fans need to know Cory.
It's fine. Get in line.
So, Cory, the draft class is in the books. Tate goes at 4. You've got Kendrick Falk at 31.
Yeah.
And they filled it out from there. You know, it's interesting. They thought enough of Falk to move back up in the first round. They thought enough of Anthony Hill to move back into the second round. So what do you make overall of what the Titans accomplished in the NFL draft this weekend?
Well, it was interesting because when they made that pick of Tate in the media room, it was a gasp. I mean, everyone was floored. That's where they went, especially with Reese on the board. But my take on that was Mike Borgonzi said there were a handful of guys they were comfortable at taking at 4, and that was clearly Bailey Love and Bailey Love and Tate, and so that's why they didn't hesitate and pick Tate, and now he's got to live up to the pick. There's certainly the need was there. Does the value match the need and where you took it? That has to be seen. But I think as far as, did they get the guys they wanted? I think you have to say yes, because, they put a priority on getting more picks. And instead of getting more picks, they got fewer picks because they moved up and got the guys that they really wanted. And, in the back half of the draft, that's when you get your depth. But, if these guys are all 3 starters this year, which they should be, then that's a good draft. But they've got to live up to it at this point.
Yeah. But again, as we were talking earlier, Tate, also, you have to be a star. You're picked at 4. You need to be a star receiver in the NFL, just like Cam Ward needs to be a star quarterback.
Yeah.
So give me your favorite pick and least favorite pick of this Titans draft, Cory.
Oh, gosh. That's a really good question.
Thank you.
That's all he does is ask good questions.
Mm-hmm. Big J.
Yeah, I don't really. I guess if they would have gotten Jeremiah Love at 4, this would have been an easy answer. But I don't really have one. I guess the Anthony Hill picks it fills a need with a high quality player, and so I guess I like that one. Because that's a guy who should start for you. So I like that one. I guess the guard from Arkansas, I feel like they could have gotten him later.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's 6th round. I mean, but I thought going into the draft that, there was good offensive line depth, going into the 3rd day, and they clearly thought the same. And so they took advantage of that. I don't really hate any pick. I mean, because to me, I look at Falk and I was surprised. I'm like, did they have to trade back up to get him? Couldn't they've got him at 35? But there are other people who are like, it's one of the best values of the first round. So it's all in the eye of the beholder and what you're looking for that person to do. So it's hard to say. Look, they didn't take a kicker in the third, so I don't really hate what they did.
Yep. So we've thrown this question around. The major moves at this point have happened, right? You're through free agency, you're through the NFL draft, and who knows? Maybe Zeitler comes back. Maybe they make another move or two here or there. But for the most part, the roster is what it is. So with that in the background, with that in the background, what do you make of what they've done this offseason? How much better do you think this football team is?
Well, I mean, if they can be coached like an actual NFL football team to start the season, they'll be better. I mean, because you go back to last year, and they won 3 games, right? And if you start the season with Mike McCoy and have an actual game plan to run the football and protect your quarterback, and do normal football stuff, they win more than 3 games, right? They win 4 or 5 at least. I mean, it's still the most difficult schedule in the league and blah, 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 but they win a couple more games. So I think it's reasonable to think that they can win 6 or 7, right? I mean, you would think, if they get good coaching out of the gate, which is what you're presuming you're going to get with the new coaching staff, and you get Cam a year older. I think the biggest question is center and right guard. Do you have what you need there, to progress? I didn't think that the offensive line, and I'll probably catch flack for this, and it's fine, because the overwhelming sentiment I was getting from people at the draft is, well, your offensive line is trash there. It's awful. And I'm like, well, when they actually got adult coaching to finish the season, and a plan to finish the season, they produced. If you will look, Cam's sack numbers came way down. The rushing numbers came way up. So those guys proved they could play, but they also only have 3 of the 5 back. So that still continues to be the biggest concern. But clearly I don't think they do what they've done without thinking that they've got a real plan for it. At least I would think. But that's the biggest concern. But should they be better? Yeah, but new defense. We'll see how all the pieces fit. And, I hate to say this because we found out this isn't true. Can't be worse.
Wow.
6 wins in 2 years.
God, I hope you're right.
Yeah, you would think so. They look better to me, but I share your concern. I mean, one would hope that they have a plan and have good answers on the interior of the offensive line, and that won't be the reason that other parts of the offense that should be better won't be able to function like they should. I mean,
is Slater part of the plan? I don't know. I mean, I like Slater. He's a huge Star Wars fan. We have something in common, and he was a well thought of draft pick last year. I think he did reasonably well against Jacksonville when he got a chance to play. But is that enough to count on him to start? And it's just like, I like Coogan. I like that pick a lot. But is he ready to come in and compete? Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, he's got great metrics, but bad measurables, and he swears a lot. He was the MVP of the Rose Bowl, so that's pretty sweet.
How did that happen?
They just – I don't know. I remember they just destroyed Alabama completely physically, so they just went to the guy in the middle of it all. I mean, I kind of like that. What about Nicholas Singleton? That pick and what you think?
No, I like that pick. Yeah, well, I mean, look, he's big. I mean, he's big and he's physical. I know Borgo said he reminded him of Isaiah Pacheco. I'm like, yeah, like if Isaiah Pacheco, ate something that reacted poorly to him.
Well, and also if Pacheco was faster too. I don't get that comparison. I don't get that.
I mean, look, he is a big physical back. Who I think he had more yards and touchdowns than Saquon Barkley at Penn State. And I think it's good value in the 5th round because, if it works out, it works out. If it doesn't, it doesn't. I mean, but if it works out, and all of a sudden you've got something, then your running back situation is settled for next year. And that's kind of what the 5th round is for. I'm sure there are other players like offensive linemen that they could have drafted in the 5th round, but my guess is the value was too good there. Didn't somebody say to him on the phone, we've been holding our breath for 20 picks or something? So, I mean, he was clearly somebody they like. And, you know, I don't think it looks good for Kalel Mullings. But, you know, we'll see what happens. And we'll see if Singleton can play special teams this year, because that's probably going to have to be something he learns how to do. But I think the value is good there, and it's a reasonable take.
Cory, how surprised were you that, number one, Pavia did not get drafted, and number two, he was not even an undrafted free agent, and he receives a minicamp tryout basically with the Ravens?
Yeah, you know, I was surprised he didn't get drafted, because I thought somebody would fall in love with him. I mean, shoot, Tim Tebow got taken in the first, all right? And so, you know, it didn't take somebody to love him to take him in the first or the second or the third, but just somebody to use a pick on him. And then to not get picked, I was surprised, because you don't produce like he produced by accident. All right. And also, he has shown in his career, as he levels up, his play rises. And he has shown he's been able to do it each step of the way. I was even more surprised that he was not invited to be an undrafted free agent. There are the obvious things. People say, well, this is the person he is. You know, the Heisman thing. You know, he didn't react well to that. You know, going to the UFC fights and blah blah blah. All those other things. You know, sure. I'll accept all those. The one thing that I thought of last night is, are teams afraid of there being too much voltage at the backup quarterback spot with him? Is he going to cause too much stir within the quarterback's room? Because they ask him if he's prepared to come in and be a backup, and he's like, hell no, I'm going to come in and compete to start. And, you know, backup quarterbacks are to be, you know, basically supposed to be invisible. You know, you don't want to hear from him. You don't want to see him. And that's impossible for him. And I really wonder if that was the case, because I really thought, you know, Carolina and Bryce Young would be a fit for him. I thought, you know, beginning with Sean Payton would be a fit with him. And to see those teams all pass on him, I was like, well, okay, there's got to be a reason, you know, beyond him. Well, he didn't react well to the Heisman.
Yeah, I mean, you know, it's like there's nothing he's done even close to, like, actually, if he was if he had the measurables, people would not care about that. But I think you're onto something on the distraction possibility. You know, like, is it worth the trouble if you think that little of him and his tools?
We talk about the height. Kyler went first overall, and he is Grogu from The Mandalorian. Okay, I mean, he's tiny. And, you know, Russell Wilson is 5'10", 5'11".
Right, but they have cannon arms, especially like Murray, massive arm, right? Baker Mayfield, massive arm.
Yes.
Pavia, not, right? Like that's
no. Did Johnny Manziel have a massive arm?
I think he had a better arm than Pavia. Also, he's a lot faster than Pavia, right? Like, but yeah, I also think that Manziel and his outcome might hurt someone like Pavia now. And the fact that Pavia is friends with him probably, you know, that might be the biggest, like, fair criticism I could hear is like, you hang out with Johnny Manziel?
Yeah. No, I mean, look, there's you know, there's a reason all 32 passed on him. All right. All 32 passed on him. But I will finish by saying this. I will not bet against him.
I think that's fair.
Yeah, it's going to be
an uphill climb.
The minicamp tryout thing is
Robert Spillane did it.
That's true.
No, there you go.
That is
it
true.
happens.
All right, are you going to see the Mandalorian and Grogu next month when it comes out?
Probably.
There you go.
Maybe Jackson Slater will go with me.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Looking forward to it.
I got to catch up on the show.
Pablo Pascal, you know.
It's looking forward to it. I think it's Pedro.
I heard Kyler Murray was auditioned for the Grogu role, but
got turned down. He's too busy playing video games.
Yeah, I couldn't remember the lines because he was playing Fortnite all night.
By the way, who just came in there and was like, oh, it was Jeremiah Love, right? He says, all I do is play video games.
Yeah.
No.
That's what the Cardinals look for. How much video games do you play throughout the course of a week? Oh, Cory, great stuff as always, my friend. Thank you for setting the tone with us on this Monday morning.
Yeah, no problem. You guys have a great week.
You as well. Cory Curtis, our guest here on the program, joins us every Monday morning at 8 o'clock here on the show. We'll react to what Cory had to say, take your thoughts That's 615-737-1025. Robby and Rexrode 1025 The Game. Robby and Rexrode 1025 The Game, presented by Green Ventures Landscaping, outdoor patios, landscaping design, lawn maintenance, and more. Check them out at greenventureslandscaping.com. Appreciate Cory Curtis for being with us in the last segment. Titans draft class is complete. Carnell Tate At number 4, Keldrick Falk, Anthony Hill Jr., Fernando Carmona, Nicholas Singleton, Jackie Marshall, Pat Coogan, and Jaron Kanak is the draft class for the Tennessee Titans. So that is 8 picks for the Titans. Joe, we discussed it to begin the show, but how would you sum up your thoughts on the 2026 draft class for the Tennessee Titans?
I think it's a fine draft class. They seem to have reached on a few players, but like Cory said, it was more late in the draft than early. The big question is Tate and the defining player of this. Well, I'll say the 2 defining players because Falk is a move up and it's a first round pick, So I think it looks like that they filled a lot of needs. Looks like they got some good players. Looks like maybe Carmona, maybe Jackie Marshall were a little bit of reaches. But Tate, is that a reach? Is he going to be a star? Falk, is that a reach? Like Cory said, again, Brugler has that as a 16 spot value pick where they took him, So I agree. The production, you'd like to see more. You'd like to see more production. The tools seem to be there. And again, this is where it's like, okay, and also you're bringing them into what? So Tate, you're bringing him into a quarterback who also needs to prove himself for sure. And an offense that, the offensive line needs to be better, all these things. Falk is coming into a situation with a head coach who certainly has developed defensive players, knows how to put together good defenses. Like, I kind of feel better about that for him than Tate. But you just asked me about the overall. Now I'm just rambling about all these other different things. But yeah, I think it's whatever, man. It's fine. Like, the only people who are stupid around draft time are people who think they know anything. Right? Like, we all can have opinions on stuff.
James Gladstone.
Well, and that's the thing is, like, those guys know way more than any of us do, including any of us. I'm including the people who break down film for themselves and all that. Like, those guys know way more. And yet they can still turn out to be completely freaking wrong. No one knows. All these classes should be graded a C and we'll move on, but that's not how it works.
Somebody asking if has it ever happened where a Heisman finalist was not drafted?
Yes.
Pavia is the first Heisman finalist to not be drafted since Jordan Lynch in 2014, who was the quarterback for Northern Illinois.
And it's kind of a similar situation where Jordan Lynch was incredible. Now, yes, it was at Northern Illinois, and so he's tearing up Maction, but he was an incredible player. I think that team got the Orange Bowl, if I'm not mistaken. But it was one of those things where it's like, yeah, he's a great example of great college player, and it's just not going to happen in the NFL. So, yeah, and that's happened before that too. But it's not often. That's for sure.
Chris in Nashville asking Joe to give our draft class a grade. What grade would you give the Titans draft
C.
class?
They get a C. They all get a C.
Even Jacksonville?
I mean,
C
yeah.
minus?
Well, no, I'm going to give him a C.
Okay.
I mean, I know other people are giving him an F.
There are some people giving the Titans an A+.
Yeah, Sporting News gave the Titans an A+. Mel Kiper had the Titans among his 3 worst classes, I think, with the Niners and Jags, of course, because everybody had the Jags among their worst. Dane Brugler had the Titans 12th of the 32. He ranked them in order, and he gave the Titans, he put them 12th. Like, Sporting News A+, some people F. They all get a C. I'm even gonna give James Gladstone the benefit of the doubt.
You know who had the best draft class according to Brugler? The Cleveland Browns.
Yeah.
How many times has that sentence been uttered in human history?
The thing is, they probably have had some classes that people were like, "Oh, this is great," and then they turned out to be crap. But yeah, how about that? Cleveland Browns. I mean, look, I like their draft. I kind of like, the sneaky part of it is, at 182, Taylon Green. I mean, why not take a flyer? But
add another one to the list.
Fano, I like Concepcion and Boston. That combination,
yeah,
it's pretty good to get both those guys 15 picks apart. I mean, Brailsford at 146. They have a different Justin Jefferson. So
yeah, not the same.
They got a great name guy. The EMAC, the safety from Toledo, Emmanuel McNeil Warren, I mean, he was not supposed to go that low. He was supposed to be a possible first rounder. They got him at 58. Holy crap, they're going to be amazing.
What do you think of
C. I give him a C.
What do you think of Eli Stowers to the Eagles? They took Mekhi Lemon at 1 and Eli Stowers with their second round pick. What do you think of that?
Bye, AJ.
Hopefully out there.
Hopefully Mike will be able to coach you and not be indisposed during work time. But yeah, I mean, Lemon and Stowers, I mean, I feel like the Eagles just, I mean, even like Cole Wisniewski at 244, like he's a good player. Sometimes, you see a guy, he's a good player in college and it just doesn't work out in the NFL. And I tell you what, I don't hate Cole Payton at 178. Cole Payton is one of those guys who was kind of put in the Pavia range of, could be a 7th rounder, could be a UDFA. Is that a reach? Probably, but everybody ripped the Eagles when they took Jalen Hurts, when they had MVP Carson Wentz, right?
Yeah.
It's just like they seem to be ahead of the curve on things pretty consistently with that guy. He's pretty good.
Pretty good. 615-737-1025, our phone number. The offseason moves, for the most part, have been made. How much better should the Tennessee Titans be in 2026? We'll take your thoughts on that. Robby and Rexrode, 1025 The Game. Robby and Rexrode, 102.5 The Game. We are broadcasting live from our Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning Game Nashville studios, home of the $99 yearly Beehive membership where the buzz is always about great service. So, Joe, the offseason, for the most part, is done, right? In terms of player acquisition, you could see some moves here or there, but you've gone through free agency, you've gone through the draft, and this is, for the most part, what your team is going to look like. So the question is pretty simple. How much better are the Titans? What are the expectations heading into next year? What do you think of what they've done this offseason?
I think they have a chance for a really good front seven on defense. Now, there's still plenty of question there. I have no question about the interior of the defensive line. That's not draft. That's old news, but Franklin Myers and Simmons, I like that a lot. Hill, I like the Hill pick. We'll see with coverage. There's some interesting evaluation contradictions out there with him, but for me, it's a lot easier when these guys play for teams that I watch a lot in college football. That dude can play. That dude's an athlete, and I think that you have real potential there with Cedric Gray and Anthony Hill being pretty good tandem. The edge thing, they've added solid pieces there, so I think that, and they have some depth now, so that's good. Now, we were just talking during a break. It's every GM has huge whiffs. The best of them. We was just praising Howie Roseman. Go look at some of his picks. He's had some terrible picks, high in drafts. Like John Robinson, when he was really rolling, he also picked Kevin Dodd. What you really don't need, if you're Mike Borgonzi, is to have picked Kevin Dodd back-to-back years.
Yeah.
So, but that's the thing. Like right now, the range of outcomes between Femi Oladejo, is he going to actually become a player this year? Keldrick Falk, has that production hide the fact that he had 30 pressures and he was so close and he is actually about to produce at a big-time level? Those guys, second-round pick, first-round pick, back-to-back years, they need to be your starting edges for many years to come.
Yes.
Neither of but they both might not work out. So even the front seven that I think definitely got better, it might be freaking good. And it could be still a little bit problematic if you just can't find enough impact on the edge. But I think certainly they improved it, and certainly they improved the receiving core. That's another thing. It's I expect Carnell Tate to be their best receiver this year. I'm not saying he's coming out. Week one, you better have 8 for 130 and a touch, and then keep doing it week after week. But I think he's going to be their best receiver. I think Wan'Dale Robinson, certainly. He's going to get the ball a lot, and that's a nice add. It could be the receiving core. Again, think about the outcomes of the two rookies from last year get better. And what if Ridley has a healthy year? It could be pretty good. That's better. I think those areas clearly they address, I think, effectively. Overall, are they better? Yeah. It's hard to be a team, go through free agency and a draft and not appear to be better on paper unless you get rid of a massive piece like AJ Brown 4 years ago. But I still have questions about the interior of the offensive line, big questions. And I someone mentioned on the text line, PK was crowing about cornerbacks, and a corner would have been a nice pickup in this draft. I'm surprised that they did not do that.
Yeah, I think they've defensively unquestionably gotten better from a standpoint of the roster, also the coaching staff. It's the defense should be a good defense. How good? I don't know. I mean, I like Alante Taylor coming in. I like Cordell Flott. If you get hurt at corner really at all, you're in deep trouble. So those guys have to stay healthy. I love what they've done in the middle of their defense. I have questions about edge as to how effective those guys are going to be. And I would include Jermaine Johnson in that. He has been a good player. Yeah. Is he going to be, another year removed from the Achilles? How good is he going to be? Because if he's a legitimate edge rusher, well, that's a big development for the Titans. So I like what they've done on the defensive side of the ball in one offseason. Offensively, questions on the offensive line. Tate's the big part of this, and I think Tate, at least in the short term, before you take the long-term evaluation of, all right, is he worth the number 4 overall pick? Well, what I think he does in the meantime, if he's at least a good player for them this year, is it slots the receiving room where it needs to be, and I do like that. I like the idea of DK and Io Manor being your 4 and 5 rather than your 2 and 3, right? Like that's a big deal. Wan'Dale Robinson coming in, he's caught 90 plus balls each of the last 2 years. He's not some game changer out there, but he's a good player. I have no idea what Calvin Ridley is at this stage in his career. If he can stay healthy or relatively healthy, then I think he could still be productive for you. And you could be looking at, your receiving core, if Tate works out, as a strength on your football team. And when's the last time they've had a receiving core that has been a strength on their football team? It's been a while. I mean, definitely since A.J. Brown was in there. Probably Brown and Davis together was the last time that it's been a strength on your team. So it would be great to get back to that point. But as somebody pointed out earlier, getting to 6, 7, 8 wins shouldn't be that hard in the NFL, going from 3. Like they couldn't do it last year. They ought to be in the 6, 7, 8 win territory this year. That's not that much to ask. And a lot of that's going to depend on your number 1 pick from 1 year ago and how much progress does he make from year 1 to year 2. That's what it's going to come down to.
Yeah. Like long term, it's like, okay, well, if Cam Ward, if Tate's like, maybe a bit of a reach, but it's a really good player. And Cam Ward, he got himself better to be like a pretty good quarterback in the NFL. Well, that's just not good enough. You'll take that this year. You'll definitely take that this year. And if you get that, then I think we should be talking about a team that, like in December, is still at least hovering around the playoff race. I mean, like that is foreign to football watchers here in Nashville now. That's like a bridge too far. Long term,
it's got to be better.
Cam Ward and Carnell Tate need to be one among the best pass catch combos in the NFL. That's how you have drafted them to be that. So, but this year, can you get to Tate's your best receiver? He looks like a good pick, and Ward takes a step forward. Will the offensive line allow that?
Well, and if those two things happen, then you're going to be at 7, 8 wins, right? Like that's going to follow.
Because I do think the defense, and I do have a pretty high level of trust in Robert Saleh in terms of putting together a solid defense. He had those with the Jets. It was all the other side of the ball. Some of it bad luck. That was really the issue, right? And I think that this defense, as constructed, is built to, I think, be a top half of the league defense. I think there's a real chance of that.
I agree.
You got to have some luck at corner health / as someone mentioned, of course they signed UDFA corners. Everybody does.
Yeah.
So
I don't want those guys playing, but yeah.
Right. And you don't want to be scouring the practice squads like every year the Titans do for corners. And so that's why I would have liked to have seen them add somebody there, but I understand this is how it goes sometimes. It's sure they had corners on their board. Maybe they went. There's somebody else at a different position. You got to go with your board. But that's one area where they did end up a little light.
Well, the over-under, I think, on FanDuel was 6.5 for the Titans. Not that that's the end-all, be-all, but I think when you look at what they've done this offseason, we knew there were so many holes that they weren't going to fill them all. I think they filled a lot. I think they've, and we'll see, to varying degrees how well they've done it. As we say every offseason, Joe, there's going to be some of these moves that they've made that work out really well. And there's probably going to be, 2 or 3 that you look at and say, it wasn't very good on the Borgonzi. I mean, you're not going to bat 1,000 when it comes to the moves you make in the offseason.
High in the draft
is
where you need to be.
You need those to hit. Yeah. You got to have those hit. And we'll see from the get-go, not only Tate, because he's going to get the attention, but, I mean, you did move back up into the first round to go get Falk. He's going to have to be productive from the jump next year. Like, I'm not saying he's got to end up with 13 sacks at the end of the year, but he needs to be a guy that can get after the passer and finish on some of those plays, considering the fact that you moved back in the first round to go get it.
Right. Cam Ward, number 1 overall. Carnell Tate, number 4 overall. Keldrick Falk in the first round. Femi Oladipo in the second round. On both sides of the ball. Oladipo and Falk become this tremendous tandem. Tate and Ward become this tremendous tandem. I mean, Borgonzi's got GM of the year in his future.
Yeah.
And then there's the entire range from there too. I mean, it's,
as you pointed
out,
a
lot on this stuff.
There is the question of, like, what if Femi is good in year 2?
Yeah.
And what if, like, Keldrick Falk
is possible.
Being a great pick? And it's like, wow, all of a sudden the Titans have 2 young stud pass rushers on each side of the line of scrimmage out there wreaking havoc.
And opposing teams are already not happy about seeing Simmons and Franklin Myers together. And you can talk yourself into as optimistic or pessimistic as you want to be about these things.
Take your thoughts.
I give them a C.
615-737-1025, our phone number. How good should the Titans be next year? The offseason's the heavy portion of the legwork is done. What do you make about what Borgonzi has pulled off to this point? Robby and Rexrode, 1025 The Game. Final segment of the day. Robby and Rexrode, 1025 The Game. Taking your thoughts on the Titans on our phone and text lines, driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. Let's head to our phone line. Welcome in Gil in California to the program. Gil, good morning. Thank you for calling in.
Hey, how y'all doing this morning?
Good, buddy.
Good.
Good. Yeah, I like the draft. I mean, they addressed a lot of things. I'm just concerned about the offensive line as at this point, but I mean, there's a lot of things that can change between now and September, but hopefully they do something. I mean, Could you imagine this offensive line going against our defensive line in the preseason?
Well, I'll tell you what, the holes that we think are on the offensive line right now at center and right guard trying to block Jeffrey Simmons and John Franklin Myers, that may be a problem.
Like Mandor might be okay.
Yeah.
But, yeah, the interior. Yeah.
Could be a big problem.
Yeah, it could be.
Yep. Thank you, Gil, for the call. I mean, it would make those guys better every day in practice.
Iron sharpens iron,
That's
as they
right.
like to say.
But I can envision a scenario pretty quickly in the training camp where it's like, you guys wouldn't believe what Jeffrey Simmons and John Franklin Myers are out here doing. And it's like, okay, well, that's great. What does
They
that mean
look
for the Titans
amazing.
offensive line?
Yeah. That is true. That is quite a mismatch. What other areas would be dominate the other? Nothing really comes to mind. That'd be the
biggest one.
That's strength against weakness.
I mean, if Femi's great,
magnified.
if Femi takes a huge step and Mandor's in trouble at that point.
No, that is true. You never know. Yeah, so that's the thing. So if Mandor's swinging open all August, is that because like they're screwed at left tackle, or their edges are actually good?
It's a good question.
We'll wait and find out.
We used to ask some of these. You used to ask some of these same questions when Traylon Burks was out there dominating a training camp practice, or
oh boy,
Kyle Phillips was out there getting open.
Man, I still say that dude's feet. He used to embarrass people in camp. He's one of the great.
Worked out well.
I know. He's
How
one
many
of the
catches
great.
did he have in an
training
actual
camp.
NFL game? Let's see.
Not many. God, that guy. And of course, he couldn't stay healthy, and then of course he couldn't catch a punt either. So that was kind of the problem between the fragile body and not being able to field a punt.
23 career receptions. Honestly, more than I thought.
Okay.
For 259 yards for Kyle Phillips.
Well, it was his rookie year. If you remember, they lost to the Giants in the opener.
Yep.
And he was like huge in that game. I think he had the huge catch late to kind of keep them alive. And it was like, this guy's going to be unbelievable. And then I think the next week he biffed one in Buffalo, and
he got hurt at one point, landed on his shoulder going out
hurt a lot.
Yeah, going on the sideline, made a catch.
He would be on the all. At some point, we may need to come up with the all camp team. People who are great in camp. And obviously, like Mason Kinsey is like he's almost like retired. He's like Ring of Fame of the all camp team. We'll see if Xavier Restrepo can be around.
The Ring of Fame. I've never heard that phrase used. I like that.
Ring of Fame.
Ring of Fame.
Yeah, whatever. Hall of Honor, Ring of Fame.
I mean, we did have somebody ask us earlier. They've taken Tate at number 4. You got your, receiver. I think we know who receivers 1 through 5 are going to be on the team. What's this mean for Restrepo? Where is he? Has he got any shot?
I don't know. Camp? I really hope we can talk about him a lot more this year.
I'm looking forward to that.
I really hope so. Trevor's saying, is Tate going to be out there torching touchdown Taylor? Oh, God. TD Taylor.
Hey, Alante. Cardell Tate scored 17 touchdowns on you in training camp. What do you take away from that? Why can't you keep anybody out of the end zone ever?
Biffed one in Buffalo sounds like a Grateful Dead song. Good job, Cameron. Biffed one in Buffalo.
Jeremy says, I can't wait until October when we're once again discussing the Titans' awesome offensive line. Well, we'll see. Look, they just took 2 guys in the draft. They took a guard, they took a center. It's what we wanted them to do heading into the draft. And then we'll see, either one of those guys can play.
They did. Some people thought Carmona was a reach. Coogan's, again, the analytics on him are really good. Someone shared that earlier, like his PFF grades.
Sure.
His super short arms and everything else is like, this is not a starter. That's why he went. It's what he went 194. Brugler had him rated 243. He'll be a fascinating study in like how much can the intangibles make up for the tangibles. He did play well though.
Are you
so that matters.
How surprised are you that Will Levis is still on the roster?
A little surprised, yeah. A little surprised. I thought that maybe one of these little deals he'd be a throw-in somewhere. So more Levis.
They got a deep QB room right now.
Hey, let's let that's the thing. It's like, we're coming up on some of the spring stuff. It's kind of exciting to think Levis, come on in, Will.
Right now, if you're going the route I think they'll probably go in preseason, Ward's probably not going to play all that much. I mean, Trubisky may not need to play all that much. Like, you know what Trubisky is? Just split it between Levis and Hooker and let him go
I'm here for it.
in the preseason.
The beer barrel the beer barrel, quarterback
I had
competition.
The Packers group thread this weekend threw out the idea to me of what I thought about, hey, they've done it with Malik Willis. Packers kind of need a backup quarterback. What do you think of trading for Levis? Still could be on the table.
Just make it a routine.
Yeah.
I'm surprised we've gone through the show here. And I saw that Brugler had the Packers 26. Now, granted, they didn't have a first round pick. Yeah, they didn't have a first round pick. So you're already not going to have some awesome, exciting draft. But are you okay? You good with what they did?
I mean, they drafted somebody that was developed by Shane Beamer. So I'm not necessarily excited about that. It doesn't make me happy. But I mean, when you don't have a pick until 52, I don't, how many sacks is Micah Parsons going to get this year? That's what I care about.
Yeah. So you're fine.
Yeah, fine.
Everything's fine. Jacob's asking on the YouTube chat, who gets talked about more in camp, Hooker or Restrepo? What if Hooker to Restrepo becomes just
I think this year it'll be.
in camp?
I think people are going to start moving on from the Restrepo thing. They've got Tate in now, and it's pretty clear Restrepo probably not going to make team. So I think it'll be Hooker.
Well, people should move on.
Well, they should.
10 months ago or so.
Probably should have moved on when he was picked up as a UDFA.
Yeah. And yet,
here we are.
I bet you there will be some talk of him. But Hooker may be the new sort of training camp story that we just can't get enough of.
Well, I look forward to it. That battle between
I'm
Levis
excited
and Hooker
about Levis coming back for the first day of interviews for whatever.
Hey, Will. How's it going?
Oh, Will, but you didn't think you'd ever be back here, did you?
How's that shoulder feeling, son?
That's going to do it for us today here on the program. We will be back 6 a.m. tomorrow. Next Man Up with Jake Lyman is coming up next. You're listening to 102.5 The Game.